You're casually scrolling through your phone, maybe sipping your morning coffee, but while you're doing that, half a world away, warships are shifting into formation. Missiles are being loaded. Satellites are silently tracking every move. The world is teetering on the edge. And if the unthinkable were to happen, have you ever wondered who would be hit first? Which cities would vanish in an instant, turned to fireballs before anyone even had time to react? Some of these places are on the front lines. Others, they're just unfortunate enough to host foreign troops, with giant targets painted right over their heads. And if you happen to live in one of these spots, you're not just living your day-to-day, you're living on a ticking clock. This isn't some sci-fi movie. This is real-world strategy, brutal geography, and a chilling dose of global tension. So let's dive into it. The first 10 places that would be hit if everything went wrong. Number 10, Lithuania. At first glance, it's just a small dot on the map. Peaceful, quiet, seemingly out of the way. But don't let its size fool you. In the world of global warfare, Lithuania isn't just relevant, it's a potential spark for catastrophe. Why? Because of a narrow strip of land called the Suwalki Gap. Only about 60 miles wide, but absolutely critical. This tiny corridor connects the Baltic states to the rest of NATO. And in the event of a European war, the first shots won't be aimed at Paris or Berlin, they'd land right here. Military simulations have played this out again and again. A sudden strike that severs Lithuania and its Baltic neighbors from Western reinforcements. Just like that, 2.8 million people, cut off, trapped, no escape routes, no time to react. And here's the chilling part. This isn't sci-fi. It's standard in NATO war games. Every time, Lithuania is one of the first to fall. Its economy? Modest, just under $88 billion. That means fewer military resources, little infrastructure to withstand a full-blown assault, and almost no buffer zone to retreat to. If missiles launch, they'll hit Lithuania within minutes. But what makes this even more dangerous is what Lithuania represents. It's part of the European Union and NATO. That means if it's attacked, the entire Western alliance is automatically pulled into the fight. One missile here could trigger a global chain reaction overnight. So the question isn't why isn't Lithuania in the headlines? It's who's hoping we keep ignoring it? Number 9. Poland. In a global war, Poland wouldn't have hours to react. It would have minutes. That's how quickly this nation could be swallowed by fire. On the surface, Poland looks like a peaceful, stable country in the heart of Central Europe, but dig a little deeper and you'll see it's sitting right on a geopolitical fault line. American and NATO forces are already stationed there. Fighter jets, missile systems, and air bases are locked and loaded. And while that might sound like protection, it also paints a huge bullseye on Poland's back. With over 36 million people and a GDP of $809 billion, Poland has a lot at stake and a lot to lose fast. And here's where things get even more tense. It shares a border with Kaliningrad, a heavily fortified Russian exclave bristling with missiles, troops, and hardware. This isn't just a neighborhood dispute, it's one of the most militarized regions in Europe. Now you might be thinking, but Poland's in NATO, isn't that a shield? Yes, but in a first strike scenario, being part of the alliance doesn't make you untouchable, it makes you priority target number 1. If World War III ever kicks off in Europe, Poland won't be watching from the sidelines. It'll be at the center of the storm, and that should make you pause. Number 8, South Korea. It's sleek, fast-paced, and one of the most high-tech nations on Earth. But beneath all that innovation and energy, South Korea is living on borrowed time. Every single day, over 51 million people go about their lives in a country that could be turned into rubble before the sun even sets. Sound dramatic? Take a look at the map. Just 35 miles north of Seoul, South Korea's capital, lies one of the most dangerous borders on the planet. Thousands of artillery guns pointed straight at cities, schools, hospitals. In the event of a surprise attack, military experts estimate over 10,000 shells could rain down on Seoul in just the first hour. And that's before the missiles even start flying. Economically, South Korea is no lightweight. With a GDP nearing $1.7 trillion, it's one of the top 15 economies in the world. But all that success, it's within easy striking distance. Ports, power grids, tech factories, all marked, mapped, and vulnerable. And here's the part most people forget. South Korea is still technically at war. The Korean War never officially ended. There's no peace treaty, just a ceasefire, a pause, and pauses can break. If World War III ignites in East Asia, South Korea won't just be drawn in, it would be hit hard and hit first. And with American forces already stationed across the region, any strike here instantly brings the US into the fight. So the next time you're watching a K-pop music video or marveling at Korean innovation, remember this global tech powerhouse is also standing on one of the most fragile front lines in modern history. Number 7. Ukraine. You've seen the headlines, you've watched the footage, but what's happening in Ukraine? That's just the tip of the iceberg. This country isn't just a battlefield, it's ground zero for what could spiral into a global catastrophe. Over 37 million people live within striking distance of one of the most volatile and active war zones on Earth. Its GDP, about $178 billion, doesn't put it among the world's richest nations. But when it comes to geography, Ukraine is priceless and lethal. Positioned between powerful Western alliances and an aggressive adversary to the east, Ukraine is more than a country, it's a corridor. And in the chaos of all-out war, controlling or destroying that corridor becomes a top priority for both sides. And here's what people often miss. The first countries to fall aren't necessarily the weakest, they're often the most strategically vital. And Ukraine is exactly that. If full-scale global conflict erupts, Ukraine wouldn't just be caught in the middle, it would likely be one of the first to be shattered, simply to deny its use to either side. Because in a war where every second counts, denying your enemy ground can be as important as gaining your own. Number 6. Germany. It's one of the most stable, advanced countries in all of Europe. But beneath that calm surface, Germany is dangerously exposed. Why? Because of its location, right at the heart of NATO. This isn't just another European nation. In a global war, Germany becomes a nerve center, a command hub. And command hubs don't get spared. They get targeted first. With over 84 million people and a massive GDP of $4.5 trillion, Germany is the economic engine of Europe. But here's the catch. That power depends on delicate systems. Energy pipelines, digital networks, open trade routes, all of which could be knocked offline in a single strike. And it gets even more intense. Germany hosts major U.S. military installations, including Ramstein Air Base, a critical launch pad for American operations across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. In a large-scale conflict, that base is not just important, it's a prime target. Take it out, and NATO's response capabilities take a direct hit. Yes, Germany has been upgrading its defenses, but it's still playing catch-up after years of military underfunding. Many systems are outdated. Troops are highly trained but not equipped for a full-scale, high-speed war. In a surprise European strike, Germany could be caught mid-transition, not quite ready, not quite defended, and that makes it vulnerable to being disrupted and devastated in the opening wave. So the next time someone says, "Europe's too peaceful for war," ask them this. What happens when peace becomes the most valuable prize on the board, and everyone races to take it at once? Number 5. Taiwan. The headlines always sound the same. Tensions rising, ships spotted, warnings exchanged. But behind those familiar updates is a chilling truth. Taiwan could disappear in the opening minutes of World War III. This isn't just some island off Asia's coast. Taiwan is the centerpiece of the entire Pacific power struggle. Its location is everything, and its technology, even more so. If global war erupts, Taiwan isn't just likely to be involved, it's almost certain to be one of the first to burn. Why? Because it sits between two superpowers, like a domino balanced on its edge. And if that domino falls, the ripple could shake the entire world. With a population of 23 million, Taiwan produces some of the most advanced microchips on the planet. We're talking about the tech that powers your phone, your car, your medical devices, even defense systems. Lose Taiwan and you don't just lose a nation, you send the global supply chain into free fall. Its GDP, around $751 billion, may not place it at the top of the global charts, but Taiwan punches far above its weight. And that success has a cost. It makes the island a target. And here's the most unsettling part. Taiwan has prepared for war for decades. Hardened bunkers, military drills, constant vigilance. Yet many analysts agree, in the event of a surprise strike, Taiwan might not even have time to respond. One wrong signal, one misread radar, and this high-tech democratic society could be wiped off the map before anyone has time to react. Still watching? Then you already know just how thin the threads holding global stability really are. Number 4. The United Kingdom. Once it ruled over a quarter of the globe, but today, the fate of the United Kingdom could be sealed in a matter of hours, not years. Many still picture Britain as isolated, protected by ocean borders and removed from the chaos of the European mainland. But here's the truth. In modern warfare, water offers no protection. The UK is anything but safe. Here's why. Britain isn't just a close US ally, it's a launch pad. Its military bases, ports, radar installations, and intelligence hubs are deeply woven into NATO's global defense system. That makes it more than a partner. It makes it a primary strategic target. And in a first strike scenario, there won't be time for Parliament to debate or react. Missiles would already be in the air, heading straight for command centers like RAF Fylingdales and RAF Croughton, facilities that feed real-time intelligence directly to the United States. With a population of over 67 million and a GDP nearing $3.3 trillion, the UK is a heavyweight in global finance, defense, and digital infrastructure. That also means it can't be ignored. London alone houses some of the world's most important financial systems. If those are hit, even just temporarily, the shockwaves could rattle the entire global economy. And that's not a theory. British intelligence has already warned, in a true war, cyber attacks would likely come first, aimed at crippling systems before a single missile is fired. And here's the shocking reality. Despite its rich military legacy, Britain's armed forces have shrunk dramatically in recent decades. The once dominant Royal Navy is a fraction of what it used to be, and its nuclear deterrent, the Trident system, while still operational, is almost entirely based in Scotland, making it a single point of failure. One accurate strike could take out the entire system. Think about that. One strike, one target, total loss. Adversaries in World War III won't aim for drawn-out battles. They'll aim to cripple their enemies instantly, with fast, brutal precision. And the UK, with its deep ties to American strategy, will be front and center on that list. The next war won't care about royal traditions, historic castles, or the green countryside. It'll be about data, defense, and disruption. And in that world, the UK becomes one of the most valuable and most vulnerable targets on Earth. If sirens ever sound across British skies again, you won't be counting down in days, you'll be counting down in seconds. Number 3, Japan. It's a land of bullet trains, cherry blossoms, and technological brilliance. But behind the peaceful image lies a stark reality. Japan is a sitting target in the next Great War. Geographically, Japan is surrounded by volatile powers and some of the most militarized zones in the Pacific. And while it hasn't seen full-scale war since the 1940s, it's now staring down the possibility of something far worse, a direct, calculated strike. With a population of over 125 million and a GDP exceeding $4.4 trillion, Japan isn't just a powerful nation, it's a cornerstone of the global economy. But in wartime, prosperity becomes a liability. Japan hosts dozens of U.S. military bases, from strategic airfields to naval ports, making it one of the most crucial and therefore one of the most obvious targets in the region. Bases like Okinawa, Yokosuka, and even Tokyo itself could be hit within the first minutes of a coordinated strike. You might think missile shields and international alliances would provide protection, and in peacetime they do. But in a full-scale global war, speed and surprise are everything. Japan's defense systems, no matter how advanced, could be overwhelmed before they even activate. This is a country that has risen from nuclear devastation once, a remarkable feat of resilience. But if it struck again, this time with modern precision weaponry and saturation tactics, there might be no second chance to rebuild. Japan is more than just a technological marvel. It's a vital link in the global balance, and that makes it one of the most dangerous places to be if the next world war ignites in the Pacific. Number 2, Israel. It's one of the most heavily defended nations on the planet, and that's exactly what makes it one of the most likely to be struck first. Israel, a narrow strip of land, small in size but massive in consequence. For decades, it's withstood missiles, invasions, and constant threats. But a world war is an entirely different battlefield. And if global conflict erupts in the Middle East, many experts agree, Israel could be overwhelmed in minutes. Why? Because Israel isn't just a country, it's a trigger zone. Surrounded on nearly all sides by rival powers, militant groups, and shifting alliances, it's at the very heart of a powder keg that's been simmering for years. Yes, that danger has driven Israel to develop one of the world's most advanced defense systems, including the famous Iron Dome. But as impressive as it is, it's not impenetrable. Over 9 million people live within Israel's borders, an area smaller than New Jersey. And its GDP of nearly $500 billion reflects a powerhouse of technology, innovation, and military capability. But here's the harsh truth. In a full-scale global war, no amount of innovation can guarantee safety. A coordinated attack with missiles from multiple directions, cyber assaults, and drone swarms could easily overwhelm even the best defensive networks. And in a region where every second counts, even a single breach could lead to catastrophic consequences. You might believe that Israel's international alliances would shield it, but ironically, those same alliances make it a prime target. Hitting Israel isn't just a tactical move, it's a global statement. It sends a message, it demands a response, and that's what makes it so incredibly dangerous in a war scenario. If World War III begins in the Middle East, Israel might not get a warning. It might not get a chance to prepare, because in a world teetering on the edge, this tiny nation could be the spark and the first flame. Number 1, Italy. It's famous for its food, fashion, and ancient ruins, but none of that will matter if the drums of war begin to thunder for real. Italy. When people imagine the next global conflict, it's not the first country that comes to mind, and that's exactly what makes it so vulnerable. While the world's attention is locked on flashpoints in Asia and Eastern Europe, Italy sits in a blind spot. But that oversight could be deadly. Here's what most people forget. Italy hosts some of the largest U.S. military bases in Europe. Installations like Aviano Air Base and Naval Support Activity Naples aren't just important, they're crucial launching pads for NATO operations across the Mediterranean. Which means, in a global war, they'd be priority targets. Adversaries would strike them fast, aiming to cripple NATO's reach in the region. Italy is no small player. With over 58 million people and a GDP approaching $2 trillion, it's a major force in Europe. But when it comes to military readiness, the story changes. Chronic underfunding, outdated equipment, and internal political rifts have weakened its defenses, leaving critical vulnerabilities wide open. Now picture this. War breaks out in the east. Missiles begin to rain across Europe. NATO starts to mobilize. Suddenly, Italy isn't on the sidelines. It's a launch pad, a command link, a logistical artery. And that makes it a target for everything from missile strikes and cyber attacks to naval blockades choking off the Mediterranean. And then there's the coastline. Italy has over 7,000 kilometers of shoreline, long, winding, and nearly impossible to defend completely. That opens the door to amphibious assaults, drone incursions, and stealth attacks from the sea. Even a single strike on a critical port, Genoa, Trieste, or Naples, could bring its trade to a screeching halt. And with an already fragile debt load and dependence on energy imports, Italy's economy could plunge into chaos almost instantly. Let's not forget, Italy is a founding member of NATO. That alliance promises protection, yes, but it also ensures that Italy becomes an immediate target the moment war erupts. So while Rome still echoes with tales of ancient empires, the truth is sobering. In a modern war, new ruins can be created in hours. Because when missiles fly, history won't protect you. Preparedness will. And Italy may not have enough of it. What you've just heard isn't science fiction. It's not wild speculation. It's the harsh strategic reality that few talk about, but everyone should understand. Because when global war comes, it won't knock. It will strike. Fast, hard, without warning. And the map as we know it could change forever.